Easthampton, Massachusetts. We're on Pleasant Street, and we're looking at the Notre de Conseil church, a church built. The one you see here was built early 1920s, but the whole parish in the original church was built on Union Street in 1906. So when you look at the cornerstone of this one, it says 1906, but this was built about 16 years after that. So don't get confused. This is a church barely over 100 years old. Now it has a nice look to it, beautiful spires in the side and a big steeple. And I was always impressed by the look of this church. It's a beautiful Romanesque look to it, and that's impressive. Now what I'm going to point out are all the parts of the campus. It's been turned into a patrimony center or a social center for Our Lady of the Valley, which is also nearby on Adams Street. All three Catholic churches of Easthampton were combined together into Our Lady of the Valley Parish. Now in the back is the maintenance building, but we're going to point out in the back the school. Now when the 1906 church campus was built on Union Street, they bought a building for a church, they bought a building for a school convent, and they bought a home for the rectory. And those stayed over there until 1948. Then finally the school was built here. So this school is very recent. That's why it looks like it's in great shape. And it has the same name as the church, and they shortened, of course, the Notre Dame School. And it was very well attended. I actually met during the 1970s students that came out of this school. So I knew some of the students when I was a grammar and high school student. Now in front of it, of course, is the convent, also from 1948. It was in the 1980s turned into a rectory, so it has both jobs. Now that means the Union Street location had the church for 16 years, but it had the rectory from 1906 to about 1980, and then it had the school and convent from 1906 to 1948 before they came down here. All three buildings on Union Street are now gone. I checked carefully on maps, and in person, they're gone. So this is former convent. 1980s, the nuns moved out into a building nearby because they're getting so few of them, and it became the rectory for the priests. You can tell it's a convent because look left and right. You see on the right a structure that comes outwards, 3 windows in the front and 2 on the side. But if you look towards the left, there's a similar structure that goes 2 windows out but no windows towards the front out. That's a sign of a chapel. So nuns used that as a chapel for many decades, and then the priests used it as the same. Now, sometimes you expect that there's a burial out in front of the founder, but remember, this was after 1900, and all prior 1900 priests that were founders are buried near their church in front. And this one was after, so that's why there's no priest burial. But the founder was called James Lord. He served here for slightly less than a decade before he moved onwards, and so there's no burial location. But it does have a yard in back and towards the side, parking, maintenance building, the schoolyard behind, so students could have area for recess, so forth. So it's a nice structure to the whole building, and I'm glad it's still in great shape. So thank you for coming to visit the Notre Dame de Conseil Church, also in English called Our Lady of the Good Counsel Church. Thank you.